Greatness don't just happen. It doesn't show up in your lap because you wished for it. Greatness is forged in silence. It's shaped when nobody's clapping, when no one's watching, when the cameras are off and the crowd is gone. It begins in isolation. You want to go higher, you want to get to that next level, but you're still clinging to comfort. Still clinging to people who don't want what you want. Still clinging to habits that are killing your progress. You keep asking for elevation, but God's trying to separate you first. Because where you're headed, everybody can't go. Some of the people, some of the routines, some of the mindsets, they don't qualify for the altitude you're about to reach. Every eagle knows this. Before it flies higher, it flies alone. You think you're being punished because you feel lonely? No, you're being prepared. You think you're losing people? No, you're shedding weight. Because elevation requires separation, you can't fly with weight. You can't grow and still hold on to everything you used to be. Isolation isn't punishment, it's preparation. When you're serious about greatness, you learn how to work when nobody's cheering. You train when no one's watching. You study while everyone's partying. You invest while everyone's wasting. That's what separation looks like. That's what commitment looks like. You make the decision that your future is more important than their approval. See, people think success is sexy. They don't see the sacrifice. They see the spotlight, but they don't see the solitude. They see the trophy, but they don't see the trials. Greatness is built in the dark. When you're waking up early while they're still sleeping, when you're saying no to distractions, when you're locked in, locked down, and laser, focused on the vision, that's where it begins. That's when you know you've separated yourself. When you stop checking who's watching, when you stop waiting for permission, when you stop asking for validation and start moving with intention, it's not just about separating physically, it's mental. It's emotional. You've got to separate from doubt, separate from fear, separate from excuses. You've got to kill every voice in your head that tells you you're not enough. You've got to distance yourself from average thinking, from toxic mindsets, from anything that makes you settle for less than what you're capable of. Because greatness demands more focus, more discipline, more grind, and less noise, less comparison, less compromise. When you're chasing something big, you don't have time to babysit small mindsets, and I get it. It's not easy, because separation comes with silence. Separation comes with people questioning you. They'll say you changed, and you know what? You did. You were supposed to. Growth requires change. Progress requires pruning. You can't keep the same patterns and expect different results. So yes, separate from the crowd, separate from comfort, separate from anything that doesn't feed your fire, because you weren't created to be regular. You weren't created to be stuck. You were created to elevate, to dominate, to transform, and that starts the moment you stop trying to fit in and start rising above. You weren't born to blend in. You weren't designed to be invisible, to sit quietly while your potential collects dust. You were crafted with precision, wired with purpose, filled with gifts, talents, fire. And yet you've been dimming your light to make others comfortable. You've been shrinking your voice because you're afraid of being too much. Afraid of being judged, afraid of standing out, but let me tell you something. You were never meant to be background noise. You were meant to shake the room. You were meant to walk in and shift the energy. You were meant to lead, to rise, to break limits. Too many people living safe. Too many people hiding behind average because greatness feels risky. But what's the point of playing it safe if it costs you your destiny? What's the point of fitting in if it means betraying who you really are? You think the world's going to hand you a mic and ask for your truth. No, you gotta grab that mic with both hands and speak like your soul's on fire. You gotta walk into every room knowing you belong, knowing you bring something no one else can. There's power in your difference. There's greatness in your uniqueness. But as long as you're trying to imitate, as long as you're blending into the crowd, you'll never unlock what was planted in you. This world doesn't need another copy. It needs authenticity. It needs raw, unfiltered, fearless individuals who are unapologetically themselves, who stop trying to fit the mold and start breaking it, who aren't afraid to be misunderstood, who aren't afraid to go left when everyone else is going right. That's what separates legends from followers. That's what turns ordinary into extraordinary. The courage to stand alone. The courage to stand out. So if you feel like you don't fit in, good. That's your sign. That's your gift. That's your edge. Stop resisting it. Stop watering it down. Embrace it. Let your passion make people uncomfortable. Let your grind speak volumes. Let your story roar so loud that it drowns out every doubt in the room. This is your season to be bold, to be loud, to be intentional, because the world don't remember background noise. The world remembers the ones who refuse to be silenced. Look around you, seriously. Look at the people you spend the most time with. Are they pushing you or pacifying you? Are they challenging your growth or comforting your complacency? Because let me tell you something, your circle is either your engine or your anchor. It's either driving you to your destiny or distracting you from it. You can't expect to live like a lion while running with sheep. You can't expect to level up while hanging with people who are comfortable being average. Your circle is a mirror. If it's filled with weak mindsets, small dreams, lazy habits, guess what? That reflection becomes your reality. You're wondering why you feel stuck, why you're not growing. It's not always your work ethic. It's not always your talent. Sometimes it's your environment. Sometimes it's the conversations you're having. If all you talk about is people, drama, problems, and the past, don't expect to create a future worth chasing. Winners talk about ideas. They talk about solutions. They speak in vision. If your circle laughs at discipline, mocks ambition, or treats sacrifice like a burden, then it's time to reevaluate who's in your ear. Listen, loyalty is not an excuse to stay stuck. Just because you grew up with them doesn't mean you got to grow old with them. Just because they were part of your past doesn't mean they deserve access to your future. Some people are seasonal. Some people were sent to show you something, not go with you somewhere, and the longer you hold on to dead weight, the more it drags you down. The longer you stay loyal to the wrong voices, the more you silence your own potential. You need people in your life who wake up hungry, who wake up driven, who remind you what you're capable of. You need a circle that doesn't just clap for you, but holds you accountable. That doesn't just praise your wins, but checks your laziness. That's not hating, that's love. Real love doesn't let you settle. Real love says, get up, we're not done yet. So ask yourself, does your circle feed your fire or kill it? Do they sharpen you or soften you? You weren't created to walk with everybody. You were created to run with the few, the focused, the faithful, the fierce, because when you run with the right pack, you move different. You think different. You win different. You can't dominate from a place of comfort. You can't break records while staying in routines that were built for survival, not success. Comfort is the killer of greatness. It whispers you've done enough, when deep down you know you've barely scratched the surface of what you're capable of. You want to dominate, you want to walk in purpose, in power, in full potential. Then you gotta be willing to get uncomfortable. You gotta be willing to separate. Separate from ease, separate from excuses, separate from everything that keeps you playing it safe. Champions are not made on the couch. They're made in the grind, in the stretch, in the pain. Domination requires separation because elevation has a price tag, and it ain't cheap. You're not going to rise while clinging to habits that keep you grounded. You're not going to win big while doing what everybody else is doing. You have to become addicted to growth, addicted to the uncomfortable truth, addicted to pushing past limits that most people won't even dare to touch. Because domination is not a one-time act, it's a mindset. It's a mentality that says, I'd rather struggle in purpose than settle in comfort. People will look at you crazy when you start separating. They'll say you're doing too much. They'll say you've changed. Good. You're supposed to change. You're supposed to evolve. What they call too much is the minimum requirement for champions. Let them laugh. Let them doubt. Let them stay comfortable. You were never built for average. You were built for more, and that means choosing the hard path, the narrow road, the lonely grind, the work that nobody wants to do, but everybody wants the results from. You dominate by living different, thinking different, moving different. You say no when everyone says yes. You rise early while others sleep. You work while they waste. You invest while they spend. You separate. Not because you think you're better, but because you know you're meant for better. You know you've got something in you that won't be satisfied with second place. That voice inside that tells you you're made for greatness. That's not your ego. It's your assignment calling, and comfort will never take you there. You have to want it so bad that being average makes you sick, that settling makes you restless, that playing small feels like betrayal. Because domination is reserved for the ones bold enough to separate first. You weren't born to be a copy. You weren't created to fit into boxes designed by people who never understood your fire. Your difference is your advantage. Your story, your scars, your voice, your vision. It's all part of your power, but too many people are out here apologizing for being real, dimming their light to avoid making others uncomfortable, shrinking their dreams because the people around them can't see the size of their calling. And I'm telling you right now, stop apologizing. Stop editing yourself to fit into rooms you were meant to lead. Stop hiding the very thing that makes you unstoppable. See, when you try to be like everyone else, you erase the very edge that sets you apart. You erase your gift. You dilute your truth, and for what? Approval, validation, likes. That's not power. That's prison. That's bondage to opinions, and the moment you start molding your identity around what's safe, you kill what makes you special. The people who change the world never fit in. They didn't blend. They didn't conform. They walked in their difference like armor. They wore it with pride, not shame, and that's what you've got to do. You've got to own every part of who you are, the weird, the wild, the loud, the quiet, the visionary, the rule breaker, all of it. That's your superpower. That's what turns heads. That's what opens doors. But you can't access it if you're still trying to imitate someone else's path. Your uniqueness wasn't given to you by accident. It's your blueprint. It's the fingerprint of your purpose. But the world will never benefit from your gift if you keep hiding it behind fear. You want to separate yourself? Then stop asking for permission to be yourself. Stop needing a green light from people who are stuck at a red light in their own lives. You don't need the whole world to get it. You just need the courage to walk in it. And yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable. Yeah, people will misunderstand you, but legends aren't made by playing it safe. They're made by being authentically relentless, by being different and daring enough to stay that way. Because in a world that's drowning in noise, real always rises. Truth always cuts through. And the moment you stop apologizing for your uniqueness is the moment you unlock the power to transform not just your life, but everyone watching.